Welcome to Power Coat Music. In this video, we're going to talk about the Gibson Custom Les Paul 50s Tribute T, and we're going to do a quick review of that guitar. Now, you might think to yourself, wait a minute. Gibson didn't release a custom Les Paul 50s Tribute T? And you're right. We're talking about my Gibson Custom Les Paul 50s Tribute T. You know, for years, I kept an eye out for the right Gibson Les Paul with 50 specifications that was affordable and well built the way that I needed for my recordings. Like you, I'm on a budget, so I knew I would have to buy the parts and put the guitar together over time to save money. When the 2016 Gibson Les Paul 50s Tribute T was first released, I thought to myself, this might be the closest I am ever going to get to a 59, a true 59 or R9 reissue. I played the 50s Tribute T at Guitar Center tons of times. I used to work like 10 minutes from a Guitar Center. So I would go on my lunch period once or twice a week and I would just play this guitar. So for the most part, when I played it, it was raw and magic. I loved the thing right away. It was solid and played well, period. It played as well or better than any other LP I ever played. So the 2016 Gibson Les Paul 50s Tribute T was a great starting point, but there was some issues with the stock guitar. For starters, in 2016, I thought, how could Gibson, release a Les Paul 50s Tribute with a circuit board electronic infrastructure, as opposed to a hand-wired harness? This was not acceptable to me, but it was most likely due to, economic factors so that they could get the price down on the guitar. Secondly, I wanted pickups in my 50s Tribute that delivered all of the vintage vibe of the legendary PAF humbuckers, much like the 1959 Les Paul Standard. To me, that could only come with the Gibson Burstbucker Type 1 pickups. And these didn't come with the stock guitar, so I knew I would have to work that out. As far as I was concerned, the 50s Tribute had the body that I was looking for. However, I did not want to buy the stock guitar, gut it, and then spend the extra money on custom parts that I needed. So, this is what I did. I checked with one of my favorite part suppliers, and they actually had in stock a Gibson Les Paul 50s Tribute T body only for sale. So I bought it. It came with no hardware, pickups, tuners, electronics, nothing, just the body, period, which was perfect. It was perfect. I saved a lot of money. Now, the following 6 months after purchasing the body, I saved up my money and I bought the hardware, pickups, tuners, and electronics that I needed one by one. I bought the harness separate, wired it up myself. I did this all in an attempt to get the guitar closer to a real Gibson 50s Tribute. Now let's talk about the specifications. The body is a satin honeyburst with a dark back. The surface texture of the guitar is satin, which is my favorite, and Gibson used a natural filler on the guitar. And the sealer is 1 and 1.5 milliliters thick around the body. The knobs I used are a vintage gold top hat knob. The stock guitar comes with a reflector gold top hat knob, and of course I use the vintage gold to try to get the guitar to look more like a Les Paul 59 Standard. I also have indicators under the knobs as well. Let's move on to the wood. The wood species is plain maple, and as you can see, it's a two-piece. And there is no binding around the top or back of the guitar. The wood on the back of the guitar is mahogany, and it's a multi-piece. You can't really tell how many pieces there are because it's painted, and Gibson doesn't really specify. They say it is a low density wood, and of course there's no binding on the back of the guitar. Gibson says that this is a modern weight relief, and the guitar weighs in at 5.9 pounds. It feels a little heavier than that, but I think it's just because I haven't had my breakfast this morning. The body contour is, or should I say the carve, is classic. So let's talk about the neck. The wood species of the neck is mahogany, and of course it's a one-piece neck. That's what Gibson says. And of course the truss rod is where you would expect, just right on the headstock there. The profile, I don't know if you can see it, but the profile is a rounded profile. Gibson says the average weight of the neck is 1.2 pounds. The nut on the guitar is a tectoid material, and the width is 1.695 inches. Let's talk about the fingerboard. The wood on the fingerboard is rosewood, and it's one piece, and as you can see, it's pretty dark. The radius is a 12-inch radius, and there are 22 frets. The scale length is 24.75 inches. The side dots, if you can see them, are white. The fingerboard inlays are a trapezoid style, and the material is acrylic. The tuning keys are the Grover green key style. Let me turn it around so you can see the back as well. Let's move on to the hardware and electronics. Now this is where the real customization comes in. We have a Burstbucker 1, slightly underwound with medium vintage output installed in the neck position. We have a Burstbucker 2, wound in the range of Gibson's 57 Classics with slightly hotter vintage output than the Burstbucker 1, installed in the bridge position. The Burstbuckers delivers all of the vintage vibe of the legendary patent applied for PAF humbuckers. This is best known from the 1959 Les Paul Standard. Let's talk about the wiring harness I used for my customizations. It's comprised of 4 Bourne's 500K long shaft audio potentiometers. I used 1 Sprague orange drop capacitor. It's at 0.022 UF, 200 volts in the bridge. I used a Sprague orange drop 0.015 UF 200 volt capacitor in the neck. I used 1 Switchcraft long switch, which is a 3-way, 1 Switchcraft jack, and the wiring was a 20 gauge copper tinned ground wire and 22 gauge Gavit vintage pushback wire. The bridge, of course, is a Tune-o-matic bridge. The material is Zamak or Zamak, and the plating, as you can see, is chrome. The tailpiece is a stop bar tailpiece, and the material is Zamak, and the plating specifications is, as you can see, chrome. The output jack, let's see if you can see that. The output jack style is, of course, a 1/4 inch model Switchcraft. Last but not least, The switch on the guitar is a 3-way toggle switch, and it's a Switchcraft model. Let's move on to the cons of the guitar. For me, the stock guitar was only a good start. And then having the patience to buy the parts over time was a real struggle. After that came assembling the guitar, which I don't really like to do, but can't complain. It's a project. And then lastly, setting up the guitar is something, again, that I don't really like to spend time doing. But again, I'm not complaining. It's just a con. And actually, everything went really smoothly. Let's move on to the pros of the project. Number 1, I got exactly what I wanted. Number 2, I paid much less than I would if I would have purchased the guitar stock. I actually saved money. Number 3, the guitar looks and actually sounds great. Hang in there for a sound demo in the next video. This is also the closest I could get to the 59 reissue on a tight budget. Lastly, the body again is well built and beautiful. In summary, my 2016 custom Les Paul 50s Tribute T is one of the best Les Pauls I have ever played. The project exceeded my expectations and to me was well worth the effort. In part 2 of this video series, I will run through a process that will detail exactly how this guitar sounds. So check back soon for that future and fun video. Well, that's about it. If you like this video, please give it the thumbs up. Click the subscribe button on your screen and join our group. We have new videos coming out every 7 to 10 days, and we'd love to have you be a part of our team. While you're here, check out some of the other videos on the channel and listen to the music and let us know what you think. And also, before you go, leave a comment about this video. If you have one of these guitars, I'd love to also hear what you think about that too. Thank you so much for stopping by. We really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you soon.